We're live. It's not Monday, but we're live.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this very special episode of Locked and Loaded. Not on Saturday night, but wait, it is Saturday night. Not on Monday night. Let me correct this time frame really quick. But it is this week at least. Week start on Sunday and end on Saturday, right?
Yeah, it's still the week.
Yeah.
Still the week.
So we're fine. We're still
awesome. I'm still right.
Yeah.
And we do humbly apologize for not having the show on the usual time frame, but I had a very large, heavy piece of equipment fall on me, and Pav has issues getting sleep when he needs sleep.
No, okay. So I had
and he goes in to defend himself.
I've had a bad week, but
trust me, I know how you're at.
Not as bad as you. Trust me. Not trying to one up you here, but
no, you're good. Go ahead.
What ended up happening was I laid down in bed to go to sleep, and the entire right side of my mouth just started hurting. I've been through this before, so I started taking ibuprofen. Wasn't doing shit for me, and so I laid in bed all night, and then I had to work. Oddly enough, I had to work on a Monday, which I normally don't. And by the time I was done with that shift, after no sleep whatsoever, I was sick. My teeth still hurt, and I got home literally as we would have started the show.
Did you get a chance to see the dentist yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
so your teeth still hurting now?
No one likes dentists because dentists are expensive.
It's subsided.
I actually disagree. Nobody likes dentists because dentists hurt. There is nothing in this world aside from ball pain as tooth pain.
Oh, dude, it was a terrible night. I had to literally just lay through it, and it sucked ass.
So to let you know that I am totally 100% in the understanding of the pain you were going through, about 9 years. Wait, I'm 32 now. Okay, about 9 years ago, I had for about 3 weeks solid this massive fucking pain in one of my teeth at the front. And it lasted for about 3 weeks and then went away completely. And I didn't find out what it was until about 4 years later. I was in the Army at the time. I went to see a dentist and said, hey, this tooth here, this tooth that is discolored compared to the rest of them, it's fucking dead. And I'm like, hey? Yeah, it's dead. The inside, it looks like it's decaying and everything, and if we don't actually drill it out and get all that crap out of it and fill it in, it's going to cause some serious problems and might kill you. I'm like, okay, take it out. That was literally the major's exact words to me. Is like, if we don't do this, it'll kill you.
You had me at that.
It'll kill you. And I was like, okay, drill me up, baby.
Sedate me.
I was kind of. It actually at the time it sounded more like, drill me up, baby, because my mouth was full of Novocaine, and whenever they Novocaine me at all, they actually have to do the whole mouth because for some reason, I'm very resistive to numbing agents. Yeah, anesthesia, opiates, things like that. I'm very resistant to it. So Percocet doesn't work on me. Freaking hydrocodone doesn't work on me. Morphine doesn't really work on me. You have to nearly kill me with it for it to start doing something, and it wears off really fast. Mm-hmm. So instead of being able to numb individual sections of my mouth by just shooting up my gums, they literally have to get into the ganglia at the back of the jaw where all of the nerves in the jaw come together before going to your brain, and then just pump so much Novocaine into that shit. It's like I don't feel anything for a good solid half a day.
Jeez.
Anything. So But yeah, Pav, I know exactly what that kind of pain feels like, and it's not fun.
No, it's not.
It was.
And so when when Pig was like, "Hey, yeah, no, I fucking can't move," I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's probably best if I don't really do anything either." given my situation, but it's like,
I was literally. Do you guys realize? Never mind. I had a brain fart. For a second there, I forgot we were live. I was about to say, hey, you guys realize we should probably start the show now. And I was like, what the fuck? We already. In case you guys haven't noticed, I've had a few drinks already before the show started.
I've been drinking. I'm about a pint and a half into my Irish death because fuck today.
Did you get a six-pack or did you get bombers?
I got it because it was $10 and yeah.
What the hell not? I'm probably gonna.
Yeah, when I told you guys I couldn't move, I wasn't lying. I was literally laying in bed, still fully clothed. Luckily, I managed to get my boots off, and trying to sit up in any way just was not happening. It just wasn't. I was literally every single muscle in my body was screaming, "Sleep, motherfucker, sleep!" And my forearms actually hurt so much all of this week because I've never had to
catch a falling object that weighed more than you
weighed
did.
Twice as much as I did. Yes. But that's more because I was using my a lot more hand strength than anything the last week. I mean, I've been doing install for the last week as part of the first 90 days of my new company.
Yeah.
And God, I have learned so much about boilers. You know, the systems that use radiators and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And just the general installation of different stuff, that it's not even funny. I'm loving it. I don't want to do install. I still want to do actual service work. You know, going and diagnosing and troubleshooting and doing the fixing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't not. I would. I know it's something that I could do if I really wanted to, and I wouldn't not necessarily dislike it. But I would enjoy I know I'd still enjoy service a little bit more.
Yeah. So. Sound like me with my job, where I'd like to move up into the offices, but if I have to handle boxes, well, what the hell? It's pay. I'll take it.
Yeah, right. I mean, at least even if I go into install, at least I'd still be like doing something I enjoy with my hands and kind of making decent money.
At least I'm not having to deal with the shit that the flex drivers have to deal with. I'm so happy I don't have to do that. Yeah. Like, we've expanded our delivery range to be way, way the hell north now. Up where I live. And a lot of these drivers are coming from the south, like south of Everett, coming from Northgate, Seattle, Shoreline, Edmonds, all these places. So we hand them these routes for like an hour and 15 minutes north of the station. They're like, fuck, I'm not taking that. And we're like, well, you either take it or you're not getting paid. Those are the rules. I'm sorry. We can't give you another route. We're not allowed to give you another route. You want to talk to the manager? Okay. He's going to tell you the same thing, but louder.
Yeah, we're not giving you another route. And
no. This is the block you signed up for. And most drivers, 9 out of 10, will be like, oh, I guess I'm going, like, they'll just ask, like, where is that? And I'm like, oh, it's about this far away. Cell service sucks. Just be aware. Once you get past this mile marker.
Right.
Fucking last night we had one driver come in and we had 2 routes for my island. One was for and because I know the island, I can look at the address and be like, okay, this is north end, this is south end. And we split it into 2 routes because we had 2 drivers. This one guy pulls up and we go, all right, you can have the north end or the south end of the island. Which do you want? Takes the south end, loads up, leaves, and I look at my coworkers and goes, He's not dropping that off. There's no cell service at the south end of the island. He chose the wrong route.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh man, I'm evil. I kind of wish
So-
I could do flex, because, I mean, I could, like, if it were me, I would show up with my dad's truck and be like, okay, give me every Camino route you have. Because I will get that shit done. I don't need the app to deliver these things.
I know exactly where I'm going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could have done that with when I was down in Jacksonville, but dude, now I'm up in Philly. Dude, I fucking hate the city so goddamn much. So goddamn much. I was going to the I went to the dealership today to get the oil changed and get a couple of things checked out on my car. Because it's been longer than I'd care to admit since I've had my oil changed, because I haven't had a reliable place or the tools to do it myself, and I don't like paying for things I can do myself. And it's like the front right blinker is dead, and I know why it's dead. It's just I can't get the part by itself. I have to buy the entire headlight assembly.
When you just
And
might want
it would-
the bulb or whatever the hell it is.
No, the bulb is fine. It's
so
the socket in that the bulb fits into. All right, so Hyundai
That's what I mean. If you want
headlights,
one small
yeah.
part, but yeah.
Yeah, it's the Hyundai headlights. They work a certain way. You have to take the whole fucking headlight off and unscrew like a section. You know how the gas tank caps they only turn so much and they pop off and they come out.
Yeah,
The light bulb sockets work the exact same way, right? You
Right.
just turn it. You give it a quarter or a half turn or whatever, and it pops out. That piece that pops out that the light bulb sits in is what's fucked,
Oh.
and I cannot fix that. If it were the bulb, fine. I can fix that. That's easy. It's getting the part by itself though,
Yeah.
because they don't sell parts of an assembly. They sell the assembly.
Yeah. So you got to pay for a bunch of shit you don't need, or you can take to a shop
Exactly.
and pay triple the amount.
And no, it's kind of hard to get stuff at Pick Apart, Cadent, without the part number. I have the part number now. And the part number is the whole fucking assembly. And she's screaming Pick Apart at me in the chat now.
There's a delay.
I know there's a delay.
We know there's a delay. I don't know if they know.
Yeah, I mean, I would go to a junkyard actually to try and get this part, but there's not one anywhere near me. It'd be like 2 or 3 hours drive, and it's not a different. The part number is for the entire assembly. It is. I literally went to the dealership. They gave me the part number so that I can get it myself. Yeah, I would still need a part number in order to know exactly what I'm asking for. I mean, these new Hyundais, new cars in general, they don't come with the manuals of the exploded views anymore. So you can't look at individual parts or show people individual parts really. It's like, I would definitely take this part to a junkyard and see if the guy can give it to me. But I'd really just rather go to the junkyard, find a Hyundai, a 2013 Hyundai, and pull the fucker apart and take what I need anyways. Either way, that was my fucking day. Going to this one is exactly why I was actually bringing this up. I go to pull into the dealership, I was going to the dealership, trying to get ready to pull in. This car with I'm not going to say old lady because she was probably in her 50s. And old kind of implies late 60s, 70s nowadays.
Yeah.
But she was a bitch. She was a complete fucking cunt. She had the entire entrance blocked with her car.
Did she also have
Like,
the "Can I speak to a manager" haircut going? Her name was probably Karen.
She had the late 80s, early 90s version of that haircut where it's curly but short.
Oh God, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's the "Can I speak to your manager's manager" kind of a look.
Yeah, that was the haircut that she had. But the entrance exit, there's two of them, right? But they're both two-way. She was pulling out, or trying to at least, and she was in the middle of it. She was in the middle of it. And I was on a busy road.
Yeah.
It was a busy fucking road, and I could not pull past. I could not sit there and wait. I had to pull past. And I lost it in the fucking car. You should, if you get a chance, ask Panda. She will say, I fucking screamed in the fucking car. I fucking hate the city.
Panda's like, I learned some new expletives.
I was literally driving in the parking lot of the building next to the dealership, screaming, I fucking hate the goddamn city, like screeching loud screaming and pounding the shit out of my steering wheel, managing to steer at the same time somehow with both hands. It was probably very entertaining if someone got it on camera. But either way, I was so
They probably thought you were
fucking
headbanging
angry.
to your favorite metal song.
No, my
Your
head
wife
was
looked
not
on in
moving.
horror.
She was actually laughing. My head wasn't. My eyes did not leave the road the entire time. It's like it's hard to describe. You know that like muscly, veiny look that pro wrestlers get when they're like trying to look really, really pissed off but somehow failing.
Yeah, that's me when I'm trying to pull out of my driveway.
Yeah, that. For a second there, I thought you were about to say that's me when I'm trying to pull out. But then I remembered that you've never had to pull out in your life. So, zing.
Okay, this is getting a little too personal.
Ouch. All right, so to kind of pull this back into the show, because this isn't a normal day, this will probably not be a normal stream. I am actually drinking.
Dude, you normally drink on these streams.
No, I don't.
You
Not
totally
the last couple
normally
yet.
drink. Well, that's not the last
Usually
couple,
he has
I'll
one
admit.
because he only has one around.
Or he can only handle one before he's too fucking drunk to do anything.
No.
No, I'm sorry. That's you, Buck.
Yeah. I was gonna say you haven't. Nick can outdrink me. Pop can fucking outdrink me. I'm pretty sure. Yes.
What was it? Like, okay, so that night we went to 2 bars, right? I had a Long Island, and then we had those 2 free shots.
Yeah.
You guys got
And
2
then we
free
went
shots?
to-
I'm fucking totally jealous right
It
now.
was like right
Like-
after my birthday, and I think
Yeah, so
wasn't the guy like
bartender-
closing up to you? She's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, he gave me and Buck and himself 2 free shots.
Nice.
Of like, I don't know if it was mid or top shelf whiskey.
It certainly
And
wasn't
then-
Evan Williams. I think it was. It wasn't JD.
And then after there was like 2 more shots, 2 more things of rum. The people you should really ask on like how I handle alcohol is Jibbles and Rimshi. They have seen me when I've downed 10 Long Island iced teas. No, don't ask Jables because Jables keeps making shit up. Ask Rimshi. No.
Yeah, Jabel tends to embellish a little bit.
Yeah.
I love him to death. I love him to death.
Oh yeah. You will not get a serious answer from him, and I doubt you'll get a serious answer from Rimushi, but you have a little bit of a better chance. So, yeah, I'm drinking. Pig is also, from what I understand. Buck, are you drinking?
Always.
How was that gumbo you were making, by the way?
Yeah.
Wasn't as spicy as I liked, so I had to add.
Damn.
So when I went shopping for the ingredients, I bought the 2 types of crystal that Winco had. One was not meth. Because
Wow,
Winco
dude,
is where you would go to buy
if you're
meth.
getting crystal that's not meth, then you're getting the wrong crystal, buddy.
I mean, for those out in the audience,
I put
wouldn't
meth
be
in my gumbo.
surprised.
What are you talking about?
I wouldn't be.
I bought.
You
I fucking.
do Topaz. Care to. Okay, fuck it. I'm
What?
tired.
Yeah.
Jesus
Christ.
This is also for me, just like getting over being sick and being kind of tired.
You're kind of
So
like, woo.
I'm having a lot of like mixture moment. I also haven't drank in a while. It's been
No,
a
you
while
haven't.
since I've had alcohol. Unleash.
Are you really? Did you sleep with Stormy Daniels at any time?
Only at the
It's-
strip club.
It's shaped like a baby's fist. Shaped, not the same length though.
Actually, you got the story of my love life, like my entire love life.
Shaped
that's
like a
what you
baby's
got.
fist.
Oh boy, better
That's oddly weird, dude.
better cut this off now before
pretty,
we get.
That's pretty descriptive there, buddy.
I better cut this off here before I get a visit from Chris Hansen. Jesus Christ.
It's like a baby's fist on the end of an arm.
Mind freak?
Chris Hansen?
Chris Hansen, mind freak?
No, To Catch a Predator.
No, To Catch a Predator.
Oh,
You're thinking Chris Angel.
oh, am I?
Chris Hansen, mind freak. Would you like to take a seat as I levitate?
Is there a difference?
One,
I mean, to catch a okay.
One-
I take that back. I take it back. There is a difference between Chris Hansen, To Catch a Predator, and Chris Angel, Mind Freak. One of them is catching the predator. One of them probably is the predator.
Could you imagine a cross episode of Chris Hansen and Chris Angel, where like Chris Hansen's doing his straightforward questioning while Chris Angel's like
trying to
Doing
levitate in the
magic tricks.
background.
So, Chris Angel, is it? How exactly did you find yourself in this position? I did this, and lifts himself up off the floor.
I levitated like this.
oh my
Fucking
god.
A.
All right, so
I just pictured his pants coming off and his dick levitating.
something has.
Well, you get my drift.
Is it weird that I'm picturing a man's penis levitating?
That's just called a boner.
It's called most of
I
the
know,
internet.
right?
Jesus Christ.
So have a seat. I'm not gonna tell you where my mind went with that quote right after what I just said. So
You're gonna have a seat on this lap of mine.
okay.
I was going for clean and it didn't work.
Yeah, no, it
Never
didn't.
works.
So something transpired last weekend that I'm actually kind of glad that we didn't cover, or we didn't really have a show to talk about it on Monday, because a ton of shit happened the day after. A ton of things got revealed, and what would have ended up happening, in my opinion, was we would have kind of probably talked about this story and kind of been just incredibly dismissive of it because we didn't really have very much facts until like the 23rd, which was Wednesday, where all the extra video about this came out. And now we know a ton ton of things.
Oh my
And
god.
now Pig's laughing.
No, have a seat. Now watch as I make this young girl disappear.
Nope. We're
Katie,
not.
you are now one of my favorite audience members. Congratulations. As you were saying, Puff.
All right. So what I want you to do, since you have actually now joined our Discord, I want you to go into No Pav No and write yourself a script of the crossover between Chris Angel and Chris Hansen. Or is that his name? Hansen? Or
Chris Hansen and Chris
yes.
Angel.
yeah.
Top
All right,
10
all right.
anime crossovers, everybody.
Yes. I want you to come up with just a short form. No, fucking make it a pitch. Make it a good pitch.
Imagine you're trying to pitch this to George Lucas to get him to direct it, but not write it.
No, that's opposite.
Otherwise, you'll get Hayden Christensen as both Chris Hansen and Chris Angel.
I love these Saturday night shows. That have so much fun.
Complete opposite, because you want him to write it, not direct it. He's terrible. His writing is not that bad.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah,
I'm going to cite Revenge of the Sith.
Chris,
I'm
hands on.
just. Oh god.
See what kind of can of worms you opened up there, Pav?
Wait a minute.
Congratulations.
Wait a minute. Which Chris is hands on? I'm confused now.
Either?
I will be.
That answers that question.
Actually, no. I have to say that Angel is probably very hands off. He's all about that no touchy thing.
Yeah, there's a reason why the Me Too movement hasn't come out about him.
Because he's never actually touched anyone,
like
while people can see it.
Hold on, I can see an interview. He's like, so you've escaped a lot of this whole Me Too movement. Yes, that is because I never touch.
The ground, that is.
However, I am a powerful magician. Your clothes are gone.
then the camera jump cuts to Chris Hansen, and all you see is his bare chest from just below the neckline up, and he's like, "That's amazing. How did you do that?"
Now do it to these 8th graders so I get it on camera.
And then they jump cut back to Chris Angel, and he's wearing Chris Hansen's clothes. And all it is him deadpanning and saying magic.
Okay, all right.
But you got to have the overlay from fucking Skyrim of like pickpocketing 100.
Small bit of information is criticism, live criticism from our live viewers. It turns out that Pig needs turned down a little bit from Buck's side, and I need to be apparently turned up because I'm too quiet.
I've been kind of adjusting the audio in OBS as we go.
Okay, all right.
I'm trying.
Why am I getting? Why is the text
Oh my God.
sound like that? What is this?
Cadence,
So-
these anime crossovers are getting a little ridiculous.
No, I love them. Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Chris
All right,
Angel versus Chris Hansen starring Chris Evans and Chris Pine, with Chris Hemsworth and Chris Pratt with cameos.
I love it.
Holy shit.
I love it. All right, so
Oh my god.
here's the thing. Here's the thing, and I say that when I get drunk, so you know I'm a little.
He says it a lot.
Do I?
That's just
You actually do when you're drunk.
Well, no, I know when I'm drunk. That's what I was referring to. But so as far as things go, with what I'm referring to, I am referring to the standoff as
At the Washington-
as wonderful. Yeah, as the
Was it the
Lincoln
Washington
Memorial-
Monument?
as the
Oh, Lincoln Memorial.
Memorial.
Okay.
Lincoln Memorial. Between the Native American and the MAGA hat white supremacist motherfucker smirk kid. So
because smiling is
Native
racist.
American quote unquote Marine veteran of Vietnam.
Hold on. We'll get there. Let's do this in pieces. Because
Okay.
I have a shit ton of things I want to go over with this.
Where do we want to start?
So first off,
you have the podium, Pop.
Right. So first off, I kind of want to start with how this kind of broke and what the reaction was from people when they first saw this story, because it was different everywhere. It was different. When this first like little video popped up of the Native American, I think it was Nathan Phillips, banging his drum right next to the kid Nick Sandman. Nick Sandman with his MAGA hat, his white privileged smirk on his face. So it was pretty ridiculous, like how many people and what kind of people actually took huge amounts of offense to this. When I first saw it, I looked at it and I'm like, okay, what in God's name is going on? What is the context around this situation? What led to this?
Oh, don't tell me you were being rational too.
Oh God, no, not at all. But
The whole thing is irrational.
So I pulled up the article. What in God's name is playing?
I get the CNN.
For Paul. There's an ad for Paul that is playing with some kind of monster in some kid's bed. I don't
know. CNN runs these ads, not us. I have no control over this shit.
Okay. But so what I linked you to, actually, we'll get to in a minute. This is something I was wanting to actually see from CNN. This isn't the original article from them. This is a correction article. Which I think I asked you both when we first brought this up in this chat, like a little bit earlier tonight, if you guys had seen an article correcting themselves, and I just found it. I also found a ton of... Yeah, that's the article that I posted. I also found a ton of other things. I went to Snopes to see what they were saying about it. I found this guy talking about it on Twitter. While you guys were talking, actually, that's what I've been doing, is I've been doing a ton of research on this.
I'm looking at this, a new video.
That's fun.
Okay. There's actually about 18 different videos that show something completely.
Yeah, no, that's another thing that we'll get to, because originally it was just this one video and everybody was
one little clip.
Yeah, of nothing going on, of just literally this Nathan Phillips character banging his drum right next to this kid in a MAGA hat. That's
not
all
just right next to him. It was like right in his face too.
Yeah. No, and like here's the thing that threw me off about this, because it wasn't just liberals that were upset about this. My dad is diehard. He's even called himself a radical Republican.
Is he like the fucking Ron Swanson of conservatives?
No, no, he's a pastor. Completely different.
That is different, actually.
So he was pissed. He was genuinely upset about this situation. When he first saw it, he was like, "What is the smugness on this kid standing up to Native American?" Now, to throw it into a little bit of context, my dad spent a shit ton of time in the Makah tribe up in Nia Bay. Like, I was born there. We have a ton of history living in Nia Bay, in the reservation, and like he was very active in the community, knew all of the elders and all that kind of stuff. So he had a little bit of that initial hurt from the relationships that he had developed there, but it doesn't matter. In all honesty, this is my dad. Mm-hmm. In all honesty, him being so upset about this, even being someone who hates CNN, who doesn't listen to a single word that him said, him being so upset about this was this. It puts into perspective a lot of where we are as a country, where people will take something as small as this short video and apply their own context to this, and it became just ridiculous. Like, when I first heard the original reporting on this, the narrative that was stated was that was a video that was recorded during when what were they called? The Native American. It was like the something march. The
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name.
The name of that Nathan Phillips was from the Indigenous People Rally. This like I think the presenter was like said something along the lines of that is a short clip of Nathan Phillips, war veteran from the Indigenous People Rally, standing right next to a giant group of students who are chanting things at a small group of black people who were just preaching those Bible verses, just spreading the word of God. No, that's exactly what they said.
And then you realize which group it is, and it's like, wait, no, not these guys. Jesus Christ.
Wait, hold on. And then everybody jumps on this, from fucking Philip DeFranco. Philip DeFranco makes this whole video on Twitter, I think it was, on that weekend, about how terrible, hateful this kid is. All these different kinds of things. And then I'm sitting there, I'm looking at this video.
All you have is footage of him standing there smiling.
Yeah,
that's it. That's it.
Smirking's racist.
That's all you have.
Smirking is not racist. It is known, Khaleesi.
I don't understand what caused people to be so upset. Like, there were death threats sent to these people. Like, there was
to these kids,
just normal people being like, "Fuck these kids," who was just standing there. Like, one of my favorite videos that I saw so far was a video from Dr. Randomicam, and he treated it. He put on the persona. I just reworded myself like 4 times there. Put on the persona of a WWE commentator, and he played the clip and started creating signature move names for the different things that the kid was doing and that the guy and that Nathan Phillips were doing. The entire time they weren't doing anything; they were just standing there.
Yeah, it
was wonderful, and
I'll have to look this up.
Yeah, it was fucking fantastic. But at the end of it, he kind of hinted that there was more of the story, because he's like, wait, what was the other group doing? And the camera cuts to one of the other like shots of it, showing the the Black Hebrews.
Black Israelites, yes.
Black Hebrew Israelites.
The Black Hebrew Israelites. And it shows them say like one thing. He's like, "Oh nope, we can't show that," and then he ends the video, bringing up the fact that no one's talking about that. But
yeah, nobody's talking about that.
This became ridiculous. So as we know now, for those who are uninitiated about the whole thing that was going on, is there was a bunch of kids from, what is it called? What is the name of their school? The Covington Catholic High School, who were waiting for a bus at the Lincoln Memorial. The Black Hebrew Israelites show up and started just throwing racial slurs at them, yelling out, "Build that wall," all these different kinds of things, while they're just waiting for a bus. Now, this is from what I've heard the argument from a ton of people. I'll kind of reword what they said, but this is a school that's a private school. It's a religious school. So the argument that some people present is these kids have no idea how to deal with things in the real world.
Because
so
they're like what, 15?
Yeah, so they started
17 at
chanting
best.
their
school
chant. Yeah,
pep
like
chant thing, like pep rallies. Spirit chant. That's what it was.
Yeah, spirit chant. Yeah. At the guys who were just like calling them crackers, just like
Crackers
incredibly
and
Saying people were gonna
freaking
steal their
honkies
organs.
and
I remember
Yeah,
that stood out to
well,
me.
then-
When you old enough, they're
So-
gonna steal your organs. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, no. And then they started getting incredibly,
Whoa there,
homophobic.
Black Alex Jones.
Yeah, no, they started getting also incredibly homophobic too, with a bunch of different things, and it was just like, whoa, holy shit. So then the indigenous what was it? The Indigenous Peoples Rally, led by Nathan Phillips, just happens to be walking by, and walks up and Nathan just gets this idea. He's like, I'm going to just walk up to these kids and play my drum. And he starts playing it. Now, the entire time, the black Hebrew Israelites were just like, they turned their attention towards the Indigenous People Rally. They started calling them a bunch of racial slurs as well, like throwing shit at them. They were trying to pick a fight with literally everyone that walked by them.
wait. Were they doing the that's right bullshit?
There was some of that going on, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's right.
So
just making sure.
So then you get this one video of when he walks up. Now a bunch of kids are moving around. Apparently, from what happens is, as he starts walking, he walks directly into the crowd of these kids, right? Just starts cutting through the middle of them. And this kid, Nick Sandman, is the only one that doesn't move out of the way. And then you get this video.
Playing the one on the
Soon
CNN
after-
page? Or no.
Right.
Yeah, I don't disagree with the kid's decision to not move, because it's
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm fucking standing here
Well,
and you're
yes.
walking. How about you fucking walk around me? I'm not gonna fucking move just because you're shouting in whatever it was you were shouting and banging on your drum like that. That means I should move from my spot to make room for you. You might be a venerable elder where you come from, but that doesn't mean jack shit to me.
And then I think the funniest thing is at one point in time, one of the kids from this exact camera angle yells out, "What is going on?" Because if you look at it from the perspective of the
happening?
kids, yeah,
It's like,
these kids
what-
They
what
were
it
told.
was-
They were told to sit here and wait for a bus to show up.
and then all of a sudden, literally, just
Like they were converged upon by a whole bunch of fucking
just like,
adult assholes who are treating them like they're the enemy. They're a bunch of fucking 15-year-old kids on a class trip to march and protest in something that they probably shouldn't have been doing anyways, because they are kids. I disagree with the school bringing them there and everything because it's all political and whatnot. That being, but still,
Yeah.
they were
Oh, yeah.
there to participate in something that
oh, right.
aligned with them morally according to their religion, and they're going
But
to
it
a
was
Catholic
also
school.
Disconnected. It's also disconnected.
Completely.
It's funny because two interesting things happened this weekend. It was that baby Hitler was trending on Twitter, and this.
Oh yeah,
That's a
They
fucking
were-
Yeah,
bullshit
that's-
hero.
that's a
they were
disconnect
both-
right there.
They were both connected to this. It was the pro-life rally or whatever. It was the
March for
rally
Life,
for
yeah.
life. March for life. Yeah. But these were like aftermath things of it that were actually kind of disconnected, but explains why they were there. And so that's basically what happened. Just a bunch of people started converging on these kids who were waiting for a bus, and then you get this video, and then the narrative that gets spun is that this racist kid challenges this elder Native American and is incredibly racist towards him when he's not doing anything. He's just standing there. He's got a drum banged in his fucking ear. And the entire time, the entire weekend, was just a ton of people just being like, oh my god, these kids are horrible. This is white privilege. This is white supremacy. Like, what is wrong with these kids? And it's just like, first off, how are you getting that from two people standing there staring at each other? Second off, why was no one until Wednesday actually correcting themselves? This happened on, what was it, Sunday or Saturday? Like, this whole thing came out and broke Saturday, and then no one, CNN finally corrected themselves on Wednesday. And that's what this article is. This article is like, oh shit, we kind of fucked up, but we're not gonna say we fucked up. We're just gonna show that, like the title is, a new video shows different sides of the encounter between the Native American elder and teens in MAGA hat. It doesn't even say we were wrong or any kind of thing. Our original assessment of this wrong. It doesn't say correction or anything. It's just, oh, well,
new evidence came to light,
yeah.
and this is
New
what
shit has
actually
come to light,
happened.
man.
Yeah, and I had this long conversation with my dad. Hence the reason why I know that my dad was pissed about this yesterday. I was explaining to him about how corrections and like original breaking stories work. Like the breaking story, like you've seen this hundreds of times, where the original breaking story is something along the lines of getting hundreds of thousands of retweets and likes on Twitter, and then the correction to the story gets like 1,000. And you keep running into these situations over and over and over, and a ton of people don't even know what the entirety of the context was, and people have created this narrative about this story with just one sliver of video, and it was ridiculous. I'm kind of going on a rant here, and it's because I've just been seeing this whole thing unfold, and one of the people who I actually normally hold in pretty high regard, I'm really disappointed in, and that'd be Philip DeFranco. Now there were some people who had made some criticisms of him in videos that I actually ended up watching after I watched his video. That I felt were a little bit unfair criticisms. Pig brought something up to my attention before the show that I think what we were talking about with the whole Nathan Philip DeFranco thing.
Okay, so after the information came out, Philip DeFranco made this Fox apology, right? He said he admitted that he had gotten information, he had jumped on this before all the information had come to light, blah, 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 but it wasn't even really an apology. He went on to say that just because he was wrong doesn't mean his message was wrong, and that he still stands behind what he was saying, even though what he was speaking out against was based on a bunch of bullshit. It's like that's not an apology, dude. That's you kind of half admitting that you were wrong, and yet going back and saying you weren't wrong. Now, me, I will admit that I will do this whole, well, I might not be right, but I'm not wrong at the same time bullshit in jest. I do it just for laughs, just to joke around.
Right.
But when I'm fucking wrong, I say, alright, I was wrong, and I'm sorry.
No,
I should have kept my fucking mouth shut and actually listened. But no, that's not what he did. He did that whole thing that I do in joking, but he was serious about it. Like how fucking high on your own fucking farts can you be to just do something like that? And I personally, I don't give a shit about him. You know, I really just I don't. I just it's like you can only be so.
See, I actually like Philip DeFranco. I don't agree with him on everything, but I find that's one of the reasons why I can enjoy his channel, is because for me, Philip DeFranco, he can be. I've disagreed with him on a lot of stuff, but at the very least, he waits until he gets the full story. Normally, Waits
This was
until
an
he gets the
exception.
full story. Yeah. He then presents the full story and then presents his opinion. And
He didn't do it this time.
sometimes, no, he didn't, and I'm kind of disappointed about that because it's this constant thing in our media right now to just throw out misinformation.
To pounce on whatever you get doesn't matter
Yeah,
if it's true or
and
not.
and Phil
Exactly.
Phil has been kind of almost an adversary to that in a lot of ways, and he did do that. Then a ton more shit starts coming out about this whole situation. That makes it even worse. And Pick brought this up a little bit earlier, about Nathan Phillips. Why don't you go into that?
Okay, so someone in the audience actually brought my attention to this stuff. It would be Anti-Hero. He retweeted a link to this tweet thread that started going into the plausibility of what is his name? Nathan Phillips?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Nathan Phillips actually being a Vietnam War vet, and it's horseshit.
So here's
with the information that we have, let me actually describe this. With the information that he has, with the information that all the news websites and himself had said, it's absolutely bullshit that he spent any time in Vietnam at all.
So, this is the Washington Post correction on their original article. It says, correction. Earlier versions of this story incorrectly said that Native American activist Nathan Phillips fought in the Vietnam War. Phillips said he served in the U.S. Marines but was never deployed in Vietnam.
Not what he said
New York
before.
Times. Yeah, so in the New York... Well, no, this is a correction stating that that's not what happened. So the New York Times also has a correction. Earlier version of this article, using the information from the Indigenous People Movement, gave an incorrect description of Nathan Phillips' military service. While Phillips said he served in the military during the Vietnam era, he told the Times after the publication that he was not deployed in Vietnam, and the Times requested the service record. Right. So, and then more information started coming out. Let's see.
Then he wasn't in the Marines during the Vietnam era. I'm sorry. When you say you were in the Marines during the Vietnam era, that's you saying you actually went to Vietnam or were in the military when the war was fucking going on, not 3 years afterwards. The era ends when the war ends and all the troops are gone.
So, there's another publication says, after the Washington Post issued a major correction.
Drop me a link to this thread?
Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I keep, like I said, I pulled up a ton of articles. So here's that one. Here's the Twitter thread that I found. Here is, Forbes, which is actually connected to the first one I said, because the first one is criticizing.
Did he actually? Let me ask this question really quick. Does he actually have a military record though?
So this is what it states. After the Washington Post issued a major correction noting that Phillips was never deployed to Vietnam, he was outed as a refrigerator technician who was never deployed overseas and went AWOL several times by former Navy SEALs Don. Yeah, so. In his service record, it shows that he consistently went AWOL and was never AWOL. Snowblower continues. Yeah. So
wow.
The first one that I sent is a criticism of the Snopes article that I sent you. That was fact checking it because and then that also led to the Twitter page, or the Twitter thread that shows his Warriors Medal of Valor post.
So what he
was in the military, but. It says, okay, so I was taken by the government in 1960, U.S. Indian policy, abolish American immigration, Customs and Enforcement. So he continuously seems to state,
If it was 1960, he would have been 14 years old.
Is he
how old
claiming
is
he
he
was
now?
press ganged into military service at 14? What the fuck?
All right, so
How that works.
the thread that the Twitter thread he was stating that he was 64 now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Vietnam happened in the 70s, early 70s, late 60s, early 70s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and do the math here really quick. Where is my fucking calc? There it is. So let's go with 119 minus 64. That's 55. He was born in 1955.
Yeah.
So if he was grabbed in 1960,
Which is apparently when he had a daughter,
Yeah.
going by the Facebook post. And my daughter's
So-
first names, which is probably not true. I don't know
if they
very many
grabbed him
14-year-old fathers.
in hell,
Wait, 1955?
Yeah.
Taken by the government in 1960? He would have been 5 years old.
uh-huh,
1960, not 1970. 60.
uh-huh.
What the
says
fuck?
he-
Now, if they grabbed him in 1970, he would have been 15 years old. Still too fucking young.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, a lot of what this, apparently this guy has a history
Of lying his ass off? Yes, that was established.
Okay, so Phillips, who turned out to be the Maytag man instead of the Recon Ranger, has stolen valor for years, also claiming in interviews that he was deployed to Vietnam before carefully changing his words to clarify that he was Vietnam times veteran.
Vietnam times veteran still implies that you were a veteran of serving during the Vietnam War.
Right, and so another post from
Yep.
him saying, "I am a Vietnam vet. I served." This is from Nathan Phillips. I served in the Marine Corps 72 to 76. I got discharged on May 5th, 1976.
Couldn't have served in 72.
I
You would have
got
been
an honor-
17.
I got an honorable discharge as one of the boxes showing in peacetime, or what my box says is I was in theater. I don't talk much about my Vietnam times. Has fought for us overseas is another. Uncle Nate has fought for us overseas, which was said by a few people who were trying to defend him. But
Citation needed.
yeah, there was a ton of shit that came out about this went from not only a bunch of people just like completely
Oh, yeah, dude.
creating their own narrative about this to it being slowly dismantled at every single second. And if someone would have just taken the time, just take a step back, taken all the information, like CNN, every one of those publications, they would have seen this entire just idea of this kid, this Nick Sandman, got a ton of shit thrown his way. Like a ton of shit in
I
the
will-
direction.
I will tell you, buddy. I will tell you that, and Auntie can actually attest to this. Veterans will always check because we take stolen valor very, very seriously.
Well, okay, so I live in a Navy town. My older brother is in the military, so stolen valor is something that kind of
Was he? He was in the Marines, wasn't he?
My older brother, no, Army. Good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't Army.
Yeah,
related.
no,
That's where you
it's-
got the Shemagh, right?
Yeah.
Now I remember. Yeah, Army.
Yeah, he was.
I can't remember what he does in the Army, but I do remember he was Army. He is Army.
Sniper recon. He was going into
Yes.
Afghanistan and helping take down all of the FOBs that were there and giving them over to the troops, the Afghani troops. He was also the communications officer, and when he was deployed there. I think on his second deployment, that's when he bought a bunch of the. I call them
Shimogs.
SARS. Yes,
They're Shimogs.
yes.
Just call them what they are, man. Shimogs. Great big bandanas.
It's fantastic because it like when it's hot outside, I actually don't sweat wearing it, and when it's cold outside, they keep my neck warm.
Oh yeah, dude, they're great. They're good for keeping you warm. They're good for helping you keep cool. They keep the sand out of your face. They're great.
Yeah. And
just like
so stolen valor is something that I kind of get a little heated about, even though I'm not in the military. So when it comes out that this guy was not only just completely bullshit on top of all of this bullshit that was going on with this, like, I still laugh at the original reporting of just a bunch of black guys preaching the word of Jesus Christ and spreading those
not Jesus Christ, buddy.
The word of
definitely not Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Hebrew Israelites. They claim that they are the true Hebrew Israelites.
Fun fact, possible fact, I could be wrong about this, but don't the Jews actually consider Jesus Christ one of the prophets, just not, the son of?
No, they don't. They don't consider him whatsoever.
Okay.
He is not in any way the son of Jesus Christ, because they're still waiting for the son of Jesus Christ to come. They don't believe.
I thought they considered him the prophet. No, I'm sorry. That's the sons of Abraham. Okay.
Well, actually, so Islam considers him a prophet. Islam also considers Jesus to be the exact same as Moses, but Muhammad is what is it? Islam states that all of the Abrahamic religions are the precursor to Islam, where God has been trying to talk to humanity through Moses, through Jesus, and the message finally got through with Muhammad. Is what Islam states. But this was just ridiculous. Like, this whole thing was just ridiculous. Like, if you go and you look at Twitter for these guys, right? You go, the kid, Nick, what's his name? Nick Sandman has, I keep forgetting his fucking name, has gotten, like even his own school dean denounced him. Like, all the reporting, and I think I'm alone now. But all the reporting that has gone on has just been lies after lies. The Covington Catholic School has gone after him specifically. When all he did.
You're not alone, Pav. Just the cat is sitting by my microphone and purring.
Oh, okay.
And because he likes to watch the cursor move around the screen, he's kind of autistic like that.
Just flick him on the nose a couple of times. He'll get the message.
He doesn't swat at it. He just sits there and stares. It's like, oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
For now.
So that's what Mike said is what I was referring to. So Islam considers Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad prophets, prioritizing Muhammad because he's the most recent. Muhammad being the prophet who finally got the message.
He got the updated version of the Bible, which we call the Quran. Look, there's even the update number right here: 1.04. Shit.
Unfortunately, Jesus and Muhammad and Moses got it wrong. You're supposed to marry girls when they're young. That was a bad joke that might have gone over some people's heads. So, purrs like a damn loaf.
He does. He's a noisy bastard.
Indeed.
And now he's asleep.
And freaking deed. You should poke it.
I'm gonna poke it with a stick or a beer bottle.
Poke it with a stick. But yeah,
That reminds me of that South Park episode. Don't worry, I'm going go up. No, thumb in the asshole. I'm completely fucking it up right now. But the thumb in the asshole. That's the whole thing.
There's a Taliban. One of the most dangerous terrorists.
Thumb right up its arse.
There's a Taliban, one of the most dangerous terrorists in all the Middle East. I'm gonna poke it with a stick.
So another thing that is brought up. Now, I think most people know this by now, but Snopes is incredibly biased. And even though they claim to be to have long been engaging in the battle against misinformation, they constantly spread misinformation. And so, like, one of the things that I originally showed you guys, the first thing was the article. I don't know who, or just I think this is actually more of a blog post of saying Snopes refuses to correct Nathan Phillips' own fact check. Because when you go over to Snopes, it says, did Nathan Phillips falsely claim that he was a Vietnam War veteran? And the claim is Nathan Phillips falsely claimed to be a U.S. Military veteran who served in the Vietnam War, and the current rating for it is unproven. And even with it citing the corrections from the Washington Post, the New York Times, and CNN, it still says that Nathan Phillips was in the military and did serve during Vietnam.
Okay. The question is, was he actually in the military?
Okay. Alright.
Was he ever actually in the military?
So the current statement that is said that yes, he was in the military. He was a refrigerator technician who was never deployed. And he also by his commanding officer was consistently reported as AWOL. That's all the information that I have for you, though. As far as go,
I'm reading these 5 quotes from. This is from that Phil Kerpen thread of 5 times where Phillips said, "I never went to Vietnam, but he says he went to Vietnam." One of them was, "Be honest, I got a Section 8 home because I'm a veteran, a wartime veteran like that, honorable in theater." Section 8 is what? Insanity? Not
okay,
insanity, mental instability? I don't know that.
I have to interrupt this for just a second. Who the fuck has been spreading the bullshit that I am a communist?
That you're a What?
Who the fuck has been spreading the bullshit that I am secretly a communist?
Toya D.
God damn it, Toya.
Vegan Alex Jones?
I should probably explain AWOL. AWOL is when you leave when you're not supposed to.
AWOL stands for away without authorized.
Something.
Yeah, I've heard it as
authorized leave.
I've heard it as just simply absent without leave.
It is. Yeah, absent without leave. Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, so basically you get checked, like, right? You have to, like.
Let me explain the leave process.
Thank you.
So leave is basically vacation days. In the civilian terms, you have to apply for it though, because if they can't spare you, you can't take it. Yep. All right, and it being not being where you're supposed to be at the right time in the right uniform is technically AWOL, as in absent without leave. All right, you're not actually allowed to not be there. It's what it basically boils down to, and it's very, very bad.
So
it's bad.
When you have a transcript record that shows that you went AWOL 3 times within, I think that's a month. And it's
generally
right.
So here's the big kicker about it. Generally, in order to be AWOL, you have to be gone for at least 2 or 3 days. as in nobody can find you. You're not in the barracks, you're not on base or anything. You're just no one can find you that is supposed to be able to find you. And then they mark you down as AWOL. Right? After
Cat.
2 weeks,
Think of it as the
After-
military equivalent of a walkout.
after 10 business days, like Monday through Friday of you being AWOL, you're considered a deserter,
Yep.
which during war times carries the capital offense charge.
Which he never got, seemingly, that he came back. He kept
Well, if
come
it-
back, but within the same deployment. So when he was in California, he did it once, and then 2 more times when in California. Which is what it
Okay.
says here.
And to hear, I need links to this whole Twitter calling me a commie. I
What kind of a
really
threat?
do. I need to see this.
Cat, please don't fucking rub against my fucking microphone. Please. I know you're not a dog. I can't talk to you like it. Come here.
Yeah,
Not
I mean,
all that shit.
I would.
Serve in the military, pig.
I would. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So something
Obviously.
I've noticed between there's a distinction between types of veteran. I've noticed, like okay, we grant anyone who served in the armed forces the title of veteran, but when you say Vietnam veteran or fucking Afghanistan veteran, that implies you saw activity. You were in combat.
You were deployed. You
As
were
opposed
deployed
to-
overseas.
Which is honestly why I actually have a hard time accepting the veteran status for myself. I mean,
Which is-
technically,
Don't
technically-
do much with it.
anyone who's been in the military is considered a veteran.
Right.
But I don't really like considering myself as a veteran because I never got deployed. What I did in the military, it wasn't a deployable thing. You were doing your job 24/7. You were supporting those who were actually in the field and whatnot, but you didn't actually go to the field. And they cycled you out of the unit that I was in, 2 line units, so that you weren't always stuck in this non-deployable status for the job that I was doing.
Don't
But
chew on
I
that.
wasn't in the military long enough to reach that second tour of that third tour of duty, because the way they did it is you had 2 tours of duty in the battalion, and then you had on that third one you would cycle to a different battalion in order to have the opportunity to work in the field and to deploy as is needed and whatnot. But so I don't like that the whole concept of me being considered a veteran simply because I'm not a combat veteran. I never saw combat. I was never in a deployment. I was never deployed to a combat zone or anything like that.
Yeah,
So-
I get you there.
I mean, but
Right,
still,
but
by
that's-
technical standards, I'm still considered
Get
a
off my
veteran.
shoulder. Jesus Christ.
That still
This-
changes that's still different from him saying this. Nathan Phillips character saying, "I was in theater." In theater refers to the term
That means you were
of
active duty.
Yeah, you were deployed.
You were in a combat
Oh yeah, I
zone.
mean, if you were to look at my ribbon rack, just the ribbon rack itself,
Cat, you're
you
not
know,
a parrot.
I
Get
would
off my
be-
shoulder. Holy shit.
I would be considered an Iraq veteran, and well, no, actually, no. I would be considered a veteran of a foreign war simply because I had the 2 ribbons for the 2 the 1 ribbon for the campaign that was happening while I was in service, right? But I didn't have any actual deployment campaign ribbons. So, 2011 to 2017.
Okay.
Operation Iraqi Freedom and all that.
And you were Marine?
No, I was in the Army.
Okay, Army. So where were you stationed at? Like most of the time?
I was stationed in Okinawa
Okay.
for about 2.5 years, and then I was stationed at Fort Detrick.
Okay.
My next duty station would have been most likely Korea or Kuwait.
Okay, so yeah, you were nowhere near my brother.
Mm-mm.
My brother went from
I mean,
Georgia and then spent most of his
unless he spent time in a special forces unit over on Tory Station, I was nowhere near your brother.
Sniper Recon isn't special forces, correct?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not considered special forces. But they are still considered quote unquote special forces.
Right.
Like
I would consider him cleanup crew.
Just like Force Recon and the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
They technically fall under SOCOM, but when you talk special when you're talking special forces, you're talking like the guys who are growing beards and are being deployed every. They go for 3 months and are back for 1.
Yeah, no. See, he was still part of a regular platoon that wasn't considered special forces. He still is. I don't know why I'm saying that. It's the reason why it's a little confusing is simply because I told you about his accident, right? Where he got ran over by an APC back in like 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And it broke his foot, which, yeah, it grounded him, but it put him in a position to be a trainer. Like he trained 2 of the girls.
What is he, a range sergeant or something? Or are we talking?
No. So he got really lucky because he joined as a grunt army. Like when he joined.
God, Cat, please.
Just regular grunt army, and then he
he was what 11 bang bang.
Yeah,
infantry.
Basically, you put infantry. That's the term I was looking for. He joined infantry, which is the lowest form from what I hear. They just put a gun in your hand, teach you how to shoot, and then send you off if you get.
No, well, yes or no. I mean, infantry. You go through OSIT. That's where basic training and your AIT are all wrapped into one, and it's oh fuck, how long is it? Alright, so regular basic training is about 10 weeks long, right? And then you go to AIT, which is Advanced Individual Training.
Right.
And then you have OSIT, which is One Station Unit Training. And that is MPs, that is artillery, that's infantry, that's basically combat arms, right? Tankers, OSIT. And I believe infantry is 16 to 20 weeks, where you're basically in basic training conditions. Because it's different. Like basic training and AIT are completely 100% different. At least when I went through, because they'd taken drill sergeants out of.
It was 2009 when he joined.
When he joined?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He joined,
It's still completely different. It was like in 2008, I think, when they took drill sergeants out of AIT.
He's been in 10 years now. What is it? So after that, he got really lucky, and he had the balls to put himself in front of a commanding officer and kind of position him in a way where he got um he didn't get he just like pushed for being more than infantry, where he became the communications officer for um the sniper recon unit within this battalion. Um and he then got deployed twice, came back, he went through ranger school. Now he is ranger certified, but he is not a ranger, which is a distinction that he makes sure to correct me on when I originally was saying he was a ranger. uh, because if you understand the difference, you can pass ranger school without going into a ranger battalion.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So he is ranger certified, but he never went into a ranger battalion. He stuck as the communications officer, learned Pashto, which was the local dialect of Afghani, which Afghani is the written language of most of the Middle Eastern countries, where Pashto is the regional dialect, like spoken dialect of Afghanistan, if I remember correctly. So then he came back. I think he did 3 deployments. He came back. He got ran over by the APC. Spent a year in recovery. Stayed in the military. He was just in a desk job, which you could tell it just irritated him to no end. He
was admin. He was HQ.
Yeah. So because he is that kind of guy who goes in and passes ranger school. He's the kind of guy who goes in to a 26-mile marathon with no
I can't remember. Did he is he airborne or air assault?
No, he wanted to. That was the thing that he wanted to do, but because of the direction that he was being taken by the schools that he was getting into, he never went that direction. But that was always something he wanted to do.
Damn. Generally, if you go and get ranger qualified or sniper qualified, they're going to send you to either they're going to teach you how to sling load a helicopter, which is air assault, by the way.
So he did do that kind of training. I remember my dad like telling me about that, where he was like freaked out.
Or jump out of a perfectly good airplane.
Yeah, jumping out of perfectly good airplanes. Yeah. But he never went past that. He then got basically told to teach, because at the time that he had came back from, I think it was his 3rd deployment, there was the push to allow women into combat roles, and this push that women can't meet the same standards as men, so they should drop the standards that they have for women to allow them to be able to meet the current standards that are set up to enter combat roles. And so what the military decided to do is they responded with taking some of the already ranger certified kind of higher ups, which included my older brother, and had them train like a section of females within the military to get them to pass ranger school, to show that if you do train, you can meet these standards. And one of the girls that he trained, along with another one that somebody else trained, were the 2 that passed. Which were the first women to pass ranger school, and became ranger certified. Which was actually really kind of cool. I thought that was awesome. Basically right now he's just kind of accepted his role as being a drill sergeant, which he doesn't want to be, but he has had some fun with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my older brother.
Is Buck talking to Alexa right now?
I don't know.
Huh. All I heard was him off in the distance going, "Gadget!" or something. It's like Alexa isn't paying attention to him. It's like, Alexa, Hey, Gadget!
Your voice kind of came through his headphones.
Oh, man.
But my standard is simply based on having been raised trained by a marksman. Are you hearing voices? In my opinion, from how my older brother explained it, because like I was just taking his experience from it, was there the standards are like a certain amount of push-ups, certain amount of pull-ups, just like physical requirements for a bunch of kinds of things, and the military was trying to drop them for women, which, being a layman's when it comes to military, but also a slight understanding of how certain things work. From what my understanding is the reason why they push you so hard to be at those physical things is because there's no way to prepare you for a gun.
There's not.
There is no way to prepare you for that moment when someone is running at you with a knife, trying to kill you.
Nope.
And so the harder they push you to be just literally the best anyone can possibly be at defending themselves, at taking that first shot in order to, not die, in order to be the one who wins out in that fight, even though there's no way to, the harder they make it, the more likely of a chance that there is that you're going to end up on the top of that fight. And so by dropping requirements, dropping standards in order to fit someone who can reasonably pass it, rather than someone who needs to be able to pass it for something that is so not within human nature to be able to teach, kind of puts you at a disadvantage. And so that was the reason why the military responded with the way they did, was to be like, look, alright, you want women in combat roles? Women can be in combat roles, they just have to work harder. And there is nothing wrong with that. They can do it.
Isn't Tulsi Gabbard a combat vet?
Who?
I think she's the senator for Hawaii? Tulsi Gabbard?
No.
Maisie Hirona. Okay, Maisie Hirona's the senator. Okay.
I don't think so.
The House
and
rep?
I'll tell you why. The first, I think it was the first woman combat vet. Okay, let me explain something really quick. There's this thing called an action badge, and that's not the actual official name for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's an award or something you earn from having been in a combat situation where bullets were flying at you and bullets flying back, right?
Okay. Real quick, she's a rep for Hawaii, a state rep for Hawaii. So
Yeah, I looked her up.
so
if she was in the military, she could have been in a combat zone as a convoyer, somebody who drove the truck,
yeah,
right? And at the time when she was in, that would have been the closest she would have been to combat. Now, that being said, yeah, I guess you could say she could have been a combat vet, but she wasn't specifically sent into combat.
Okay, so she was
Right.
she was a field medical role in the Hawaii National Guard in a combat zone in Iraq from 2004 to 2005. Was later deployed to Kuwait. She was previously served in the Hawaii House. That's not really.
So she may not have. She may not have physically
she
seen
was-
action, but field medic is
she was
still
a-
a pretty.
yeah,
That's
a
a
field-
front or second line position.
Yeah, so field
Second
combat
line,
role
more
is
likely.
actually is actually a pretty substantial role to play. Military service.
Mm-hmm.
So in April 2003, while serving in the state legislature, Gabbert enlisted in the Hawaii Army National Guard. In 2004, Gabbert was asked to deploy with her unit, volunteering for a 12-month tour in Iraq, where she served as a field medic unit as a specialist in a combat zone with the 29th Support Battalion Medical Company. This is a lot of.
So it sounds like she
propaganda.
saw well, not. Again, I'm going to use the term saw action selectively, but in a combat zone, that's pretty. Even if she wasn't the one pulling the trigger and returning fire, that's pretty damn close.
Combat medics are kind of, tend to be pretty held in good regard because, they're important. I remember one of the stories that my older brother told me was...
They just make you comfortable while you die.
One of the commanding... Yeah. One of the commanding officers... He was one of the commanding officers for his unit. And they... there was one time where, he was explaining how adrenaline works after a combat scenario. He's like, I would literally have to go around and smack my soldiers in the chest to make sure that they check to see if they got shot. Because when the adrenaline kicks in, sometimes you don't feel it.
Yeah.
That was one of the funny things that he brought up to me. But I probably butchered the story or the joke that he made, but
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So it seems that she was deployed to Iraq where she served as a field medical unit in a combat zone. At the very least.
So hey, that was accurate. Cool. Oh my god, the Dems are pushing accurate ads? What is this? Although, fucking... I've heard she's probably one of the best bets the Democrats have of a presidential candidate because you've got the hard left types that are calling her a moderate Republican. It's like, what? She's a Democrat. She is campaigning as such. What are you doing? Anyway, back to fucking Nathan Phillips and shit. Where did we go from it? We went from this guy's not a real vet. Let's talk about real vets.
I'll be right back.
Bye.
But so this week has been ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just been crazy with news.
With how they've treated, that too. With how they've treated Nick Sandman here. Let's
I was gonna say, what did they do? What did they do to Wizard? What did he do to garner media attention? But no, we're talking.
Bill Maher rips smirk face kid from viral video.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
What did he say? God damn it, Washington Times.
In a nutshell, it was basically, I don't hate these kids, but I hate this kid in particular. For wearing a MAGA hat, and it's like, oh my god. Did you see that clip of the chick that was like, that hat makes me afraid? Like there was some sort of an engagement between pro and anti-Trump supporters, and she's like, that hat strikes fear in me, and I'm like, imagine being so fragile you're afraid of an article of clothing.
Oh no, it got worse.
Just
the conversation got worse. Where she was like, "You shouldn't listen to facts. You should listen to emotions."
Oh, I was listening. Yeah.
That
emotions, they are real, but they are knee jerk. Does it make sense? They are not a good solution. I don't fucking know. I just drink beer and read the news, but we're not even doing that. We're just drinking beer.
We're drinking beer,
mildly
kinda
discussing
ranting.
the news.
Yeah, we're renting. But no, this whole thing has been ridiculous. Like the kid, this kid has had a ton of shit thrown at him. Let me go find like some kind of Twitter thread, like Twitter.
Where are we at here? Is there a link I need to pull
I don't
up?
know. I've been arguing with Anti-Hero and Twitter for the last 2 or 3 minutes.
Oh, apparently
Twitter fight! Twitter fight!
Apparently, there was a fake tweet going around of from Nick Sandman's mom, saying, "I only wish the pioneers had brought more blankets with smallpox."
Was a bullshit.
Yeah, it was bullshit. No, the mother. So that's a hot take.
You know what?
but-
I wish she had said that.
Jesus Christ, that's spicy.
Yeah, that is.
I wish she had said that, because then I would have been able to say, "Damn, she's got some balls on her."
Yeah, so
man.
so the title of this is "No, the mother of the Covington student Nick Sandman did not tweet about the Native Americans and smallpox." So to kind of finish this off a little bit here, so the Sensman family hires an attorney for the demand of basically suing the news publications for slander, which I completely agree with, because that's all that this has been. This has been a ton of slander thrown at this kid. What is the tweet?
Well, they've got a lawyer now, don't they? Like,
yeah, they've grabbed a
Like-
lawyer.
and I think Dimple was saying that the lawyer's got a list of 2,000 names that are committing libel, like active defamation, because they won't correct or retract their statements.
Right, and then a ton of people dox them.
Hey guys, what's another Ooh, never mind. I just thought of one.
Okay.
I'll let Pig do his thing.
Yeah. So so the Jacks, so a ton of the family has been offered. This Colorado teacher placed on leave for demanding tweets aimed at Covington student. There's. Oh, yeah. So there was a teacher of a middle school who tried to dox the kid by saying his name was Jay Jackson, and was spreading around a ton of things. His Twitter account is closed, non-followers, so we won't interfere with his training hashtag Hitler Youth. Basically
The fuck?
saying he's a part
What?
of Hitler Youth. That was her statement.
The shit?
Yeah, and then a ton of people like, wait.
That's not a fucking Stahlhelm lady. Jesus Christ.
A bunch of people, I'm very disappointed that Nick Sandman has no intention of apologizing. Because he has every
For
right
what?
to stand. Because he says he has every right to stand there. I hope that he grows older, that he will understand that it's not about having a right, it's about doing the right thing. What should he apologize for exactly? Was response to that. Actually, an apology would have only have value if it was sincere, for staring down an elderly of a different culture and doing it with a smirk and a tinge of arrogance. Yes, I understand that the other moment differently, but this is how I see and
Okay,
appreciate.
I will admit that there was a tinge of arrogance in his eyes when he
But
was he was doing that, but it was just so good. He did so well.
Well, like what Sandman did the interview with NBC, didn't he? And he looked fucking terrified. Like he was walking on glass eggshells, as far as I'm concerned. Like holy shit, I gotta watch what I say.
Is probably good idea to think on different perspectives.
Da.
Is
oh,
thi-
Vox.
this is Russian accent at the moment. By the
Oh,
way, it's bad
oh.
Russian accent.
Yeah,
So
you
from-
got to work
'cause-
on it. You have to put more emphasis on the vowels. And
It
And
is
on the
bad
hard
Russian
R's.
accent because according to what's his name, fuckface anti-hero. I am communist, comrades.
So from Vox, the MAGA hat wearing teen at the center of the viral video firestorm isn't sorry. Nick Sandman, the student singing face to face with the Native American elder in the footage that went viral over the weekend, spoke about what happened in tape. Nick Sandman at the conference, school student seen in the viral. Okay, yeah. With the wearing a MAGA hat and seemingly in confrontation with a Native American elder, says that he wishes the incident could have been avoided, but he doesn't feel like he needs to apologize for what happened either. Yeah. So, as the controversy continued, Sandman's family hired a PR firm to help deal with the situation on Saturday and released a 3-page statement explaining his side of the story, and it continued with the interview on today. It was weird seeing his face. Because this is oddly like Sandman also denied the claims by Phillips, where others in the area on Friday, that said that some of his classmates were chanting "Build a Wall" in Trump 2020, which that's something that Philip Pickle actually pointed out. There was actually no one in any of the footage that was chanting that other than the Black Hebrew Israelites that were chanting it kind of, what was it? What's the term there?
sarcastically.
No.
Not even. No.
Mockingly.
Mockingly, yeah.
Mockingly,
It's not,
yeah.
Ironically isn't the way to put it either.
We're a Catholic school and it's not tolerated. They don't tolerate racism, and none of my classes are racist people, he said. Of course, whether or not you can go to the Catholic school says nothing on whether you might be racist. All eyes on Kavanaugh.
What?
No, did you
We
see
went-
that? Did you see that? Like, I don't remember who it was, but one of the
Did
video articles that were put out was comparing the smirk from him to the smirk that Brett Kavanaugh had at one point in time.
Actually, yeah, I did. I think I did see that.
God. I didn't see that. What the fuck? That. Oh my god. Those aren't even remotely related. God damn it.
Yeah,
Oh my
then they
God.
went back, where, yeah, so there a bunch of people went back and claimed that he was wearing blackface. So footage posted to the Covington's YouTube page in 2012
Oh,
showing
no.
students dressed
Wait
in
till-
all black, their faces painted black, has also surfaced on the internet. Because officially since taking it down. Some people have online accused the students of wearing blackface as a sign of racism, though it's not clear that there was actual intent, and the fact-checking Snopes dug into it. Oh, wow! What happened to Vox? This is actually kind of rational. Holy shit! Like
They fired all the people that were not rational and hired rational people.
really?
No, I'm just pulling shit out of my ass.
intentions. Or okay, never mind. Here's the here's the fox we all know and hate. Intentions, intentional or not, given the historical gravity of racism, blackface, the students and adults should have known better. Because
So-
you know, like when I went to high school, like when there were spirit rallies, right? Our school colors were like black, blue and white, or
Yeah.
something like that. And so a bunch of people would paint their face half blue, half white. So if the colors of their school was black, like, God damn.
See, by
I'm
this
just-
logic, if painting yourself black is racist, then every Oakland Raiders fan is automatically half racist.
Oh yeah. So HuffPost also detailed more stories that have come out about Covington after Friday's incident, so they're just digging into the school. One man on Twitter said that he was harassed by Covington students for being gay. Documentation of other members of the community said there was a ingrained sexism problem at the school. It was quoted with black students who said that they got bullied there, and many of the Twitter pointed out in the recent news of detailing rape charges against a aforementioned former Covington Catholic basketball player Jacob Walter, 18, a student who's been caught on videotaping. It's not rape if you enjoy it.
For fuck's
God.
sake. Someone did say that. Someone said that at the rally.
No. That's the funny thing about this. This has nothing to do with the rally anymore.
Right. No.
This is
yeah.
all this is. It's
Like-
just.
What does that do with the fucking Native American and the fucking black Hebrew Israelites? It's like,
Well, what does this have to do with Nick Sandman? And see, a lot of people
Yeah.
are like, oh, this school is terrible. We're talking about Nick Sandman here. Oh yeah, same thing. Well, no, we're not.
We really aren't, no.
Oh.
Attention to slander in the article.
Let's see. So this is Stephen Donkey asked Covington Catholic school kids about wearing blackface at a basketball games, and he says he's been there. We haven't been able to wear blackface paint because of the video, but I know that the kids meant nothing by it, and he was showing the school spirit. That's why is that? This became just ridiculous.
These kids did nothing wrong.
I felt I saw something from Tim Pool about the Covington Catholic.
Was it their blackout games, whatever the hell?
No, he made quite a weirdly hyperbolic statement.
How so?
Just so you guys know, I am now nicknamed Capitalist Swine in the Discord.
But do you sell rope?
No,
No,
you're the
that's-
rope seller.
Yeah, you've always been the rope seller. Apparently, I have lost my title. Oh no! Wait, hold on. No, yeah, I was read something, right?
I don't know.
Go back and
Maybe?
look at the old videos where I was showing you guys the let it grow, but it's
Oh yeah, that,
Yes, I remember.
yeah. So a pig named me something to do with being a communist, and then that's when
that was the capitalist rope salesman. Which means
What
you
was
can
it?
take that.
What
You can
was
take that
it?
one of two fucking ways. You can take that as either I am the salesman who sells rope to hang the capitalist with, or I'm a capitalist who sells rope.
God, what were you, Pa? Fucking
I don't
red
even
what?
know, that was
some. I guess it got linked. something from.
And it's all on the channel.
I mean, it is, but that's so much work I have to do.
Fucking right. I can't be bothered either.
Go back and find something. Well, I think I've ranted about as much as I possibly can about this story.
I think you have to, but
Yeah, we're
you know,
coming up on 2 hours here.
It's
so.
such fucking horse shit that it's just.
I looked at the fucking names.
Yeah.
No, come on, no. I'm gonna shape it. Not rope. Capitalist rope. Not seller.
Provider.
Salesman. Let's get it right, people. Oh man. I think the wheels have been spinning. Do you want words? Why don't I just call it here?
Phrases. Fuck. I mean, I guess so. I mean, unless anybody has anything they want us to cover or talk about.
You guys got anything? Because remember,
leave links in the chat and I'll pull them up.
Yeah, we are going to be doing a regular scheduled episode this next
on Monday.
This coming Monday, yeah.
So
in 2 days,
we'll have actual articles. This is the makeup.
Yeah, and since it's Saturday, I don't exactly have any time limits here, so we can make this stream go as long as you guys want.
Oh yeah,
unless it gets to like 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm fucking so shit faced that I can barely speak.
I'll give it until
which can happen. I just need to drink 4 or 5 more beers.
I'm already there.
I'm done with all of the alcohol that I have, so I'm fine.
I'll give it until 8:32 Pacific time. 3 minutes. You got an article? Drop it in chat. I'll pull it up and we'll bullshit about it. I've also got 3 dogs that need feeding, and they're bothering me.
They're fine. They're
live.
dogs. They'll live. They'll lick each other's assholes or something. I don't know.
That's gay.
So, what do you guys aside from Destiny 2? What have you guys been playing?
I've been playing Far Cry 5 and Ghost Recon Wildlands.
How's Ghost Recon doing?
Okay, the driving is shit. The tactics are awesome.
Oh, nice.
So
that's cool.
Like, I don't like the whole tank controls they've got going with the vehicles, but like, if I want to approach things step by step, I can do that. The AI does get a little bit retarded at times if you deploy them to. Okay, so let's say you're infiltrating a compound and you send your AI squad to hold this one position. Well, if enemy hostiles walk past them, and we're talking like 2 inches away from these guys who have guns drawn and everything, they just don't care. They're like, oh,
I'll be right back, guys. Sorry.
Americans. Okay, whatever. So it's just, I like Wildlands. It's really fun when you've got friends because it takes out the AI squad mates and then you have to really strategize with your friends. But it's not bad. And then Far Cry 5 is just like silly. It's like you against the Westboro Baptist Church turned up to 111.
Speaking of Far Cry 5 with that kind of article, what was that article you shared?
That article, I'll see if I can pull it up. But that article fucking pissed me off so much. It was an article from Rock Paper Shotgun about how Far Cry 5 didn't go into enough of enough of Montana's history of racism and fascism, and I'm like, why?
Well, okay,
It's a
so
fucking video game.
One of the things that annoyed the shit out of me was like it says, um, it's talking about this guy Herc, right? And
Herc? Oh yeah,
Herc,
vote Herc for Senate. Yeah.
yeah. So, like it mentions him, and it mentions like some of the things that he's for, right? And I'm reading this, I'm like, no, that was not in the game. So are we talking about the same game? Cause what was
Yeah.
it? Okay, this goes by for.
Okay, so I shit you not, Pop. Far Cry
Okay.
5 has a vegan Alex Jones.
A vegan what?
A vegan Alex Jones.
What's his name?
Oh fuck. Zip Kepler? Zip Kepler.
I mean that makes sense. Both vegans and
Zip Kupka, Far Cry 5, but he's like screaming about globalists and shit like that, but then he's also against animal abuse, so he doesn't want to shoot a single living thing. The motherfucker has a flamethrower.
what is his name? Zip Coat?
Kupka, Kupka. He is vegan Alex Jones. Like Far Cry 5 is a caricature of the diehard conservative base of the U.S. Like, holy shit. I can't put it any other way. It's so fucking outlandish that you can't be like that. This can't be serious, motherfucker. One of the guns you can unlock in the game is a rocket-propelled shovel launcher.
Is there any of just his lines? Zipkovka lines.
Watch some of the cutscenes. I mean, I'm not gonna pull them. I can pull them up on stream if you want, but it's just so fucking off because you just see the word globalist and stuff. It's like, yep, I know what your motivation is.
Well, one of the first videos I clicked on was two guys having a conversation about him. He's like, man, I really hate listening to Zip's conspiracy theories, but we need his explosives.
That sounds like Alex Jones. We hate this guy, but he's got guns. God damn it.
See, I kind of want this game. Kind of.
So
I've gotten really disassociated with What?
I was just gonna say to Merc really quick. It's I know Montana is really insular. Like I've got some family who lives in Great Falls, and they've told me stories about how in their community they and some off-duty cops pulled the guy out of his car for speeding and beat him up. Because he would take his souped-up Jeep and speed through their little community at 50 miles an hour at like 4 in the morning. So eventually the fucking off-duty cops put up a roadblock, pulled the guy out of his car, and caned him. And said, don't do it again. Like, Montana's very, very... It's very, vigilantist is the wrong word, is the wrong term to use, but they're very, self-sufficient, let's put it that way.
So I clicked on this video. It just says Zip Copla, Copa, Koopa, Koopka. Okay,
That was it, everybody.
And it shows you pulling up in a truck, and you walk out of your truck, and it says new character found, Zip Koopla, and he's just standing next to his barn, torching something.
All right, I'm back.
I don't know what he's torching, but I'm interested. He's just
we're
weeding the flamethrower.
we're talking Far Cry 5, Pig.
Oh, okay.
Have you played Far Cry 5 at all?
No, I haven't. I've been wanting to, but I with I'm in the middle of getting the new computer, and I've kind of decided not to buy any new games until I've got it all together.
Okay.
I'm going to be ordering the new the processor tomorrow. So
Okay,
let
so
me
we
present you an argument.
we were talking about one of the NPCs in Far Cry 5 who I can only describe as a vegan Alex Jones.
that would be interesting.
Like, this is a guy who screams about globalists and government conspiracies, and he has a fucking flamethrower, but he will not harm animals with it.
So let me make this argument to you, Pig. What if it was a game for 99 cents? After tax, it's like things. It's a third-person shooter that we would all be able to stream and play together, called the Mean Greens, which is basically what I've found is a kind of a reference game to the old Army Men Sarge's Heroes.
I'm in.
Okay.
I'm fucking in.
So
I loved those games as a kid.
Yeah, so did I. I fucking love those games. So it's tan versus green, and it takes place in the Sarge's Hero universe. You know, after they started going into the real world. So like all of the maps and stuff is like in the kitchen sink or up in the cupboards.
Okay.
And it's 99 cents right now. And I bought it.
On Steam?
On Steam.
Alright, let me see here. So the Mean Greens?
The Mean Greens.
The Mean Greens Plastic Warfare.
Yep. So did you ever play Army Men Sarge's Heroes or Army Men?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Did you like those?
I did. I found them very entertaining. Yes.
I fucking love those games. So this is a little bit more third person because I actually went back and looked up game footage. I was sure I feel kind of weird.
And
like,
it is now mine. I have it.
Okay. All right. Because I was explaining it to her. To Topaz because she'd never heard of Army Men before. I'm like, all right, I need to show you something from my childhood at this point. Because
I mean, these are the kinds of guys I would melt with fucking fireworks around the 4th of July.
or when I think it was even in Sarge's Heroes when freaking you had what was the bad guy of Sarge's Heroes? He was
Plastro.
Plastro. Yeah, you get first introduced to him with that intro where he's just like kind of walking with his troops, and he walks out, takes a hit off a cigar. He's like, I love the smell of green plastic in the morning, and melted green plastic in the morning, or something like that. Dude, that stuck with me. This game, it's not top down.
That was Sarge's Heroes 2, wasn't it?
No, that was the first one.
I had that shared on the
I think
Dreamcast.
I think I only actually played one of those games. It was the one where at the end of the game he finds himself in the real world.
So that must have been Army Men.
Yeah, I think that's the only one I actually played.
2 was when they started entering the portal. Sarge's Heroes takes place a little bit after that, and then there was a bunch of other games that came out after that that were trying to like recapture it, but mainly it was just this one. It was I played 1, 2, and Sarge's Heroes. I mainly played Sarge's Heroes, so because I think that was for the PS1.
Yeah, no,
PS1
all
and
of those were on the
Dreamcast. I had it
PS1.
on Dreamcast.
I had it on the PS1. I think I got that for Christmas. This is before I was, old enough to have a job and start buying my own games. So I only got games as gifts, right? So it was one of the few that I had, and I think I played through it once, and then never played it again because reasons.
I never finished it.
Huh.
Sword is Yours, I never finished it. I wanted to, but I just never did. Because my Dreamcast died.
I remember when the Dreamcast first came out, my brother's best friend, he's more like a cousin now, or at least, yeah, he turned into more of a cousin than anything. He had one. And the only game I remember on it was that racing game that came out when it first released.
Speed Devils?
Maybe? Was it Mud Racing?
No.
Yeah, it was like off-road rally racing stuff with those glorified go-karts on the massive shocks.
Okay, now that wasn't Speed Devils. That's something else. I didn't play that one.
Yeah, that's all I remember about it, though. Oh. I had the PlayStation, and then I had the PlayStation 1. No, PlayStation 1, what the fuck? PlayStation 2, and then before the PlayStation 3 came out is when I actually started, working. So I got an Xbox and a GameCube. I originally got the GameCube for my little brothers, and because I wanted to play Legend of Zelda. And then I ended up getting, like, Metroid Prime and all that, and I fell in love with Metroid. Fucking... And then the Wii came out later, and I got Metroid Prime...
The other M?
No, it was...
It was Metroid Prime 3, wasn't it? Because Prime 1
yes,
and 2 were on the GameCube. And apparently...
Yeah, 3.
Apparently Metroid Prime 4 has been delayed.
Yeah, that Metroid Prime 3, when they released it, they also had the Collector's Edition, which came in the metal case and had Metroid Prime 1 and Metroid Prime 2 Dark Echoes. All of it, like, completely reconfigured so that you could play all three of them with the Wii remote as the ARM cannon. And it was so fucking awesome. I loved it. That was literally the only game I liked on the Wii.
Really?
Everything else was just complete garbage to me because I just didn't like it. I used the Wii. The only time I used the Wii was when I was playing Metroid Prime, all three of them, so I could use the actual Wii remote. And the rest of it was when I was plugging in the fucking GameCube controller so I could play GameCube games on it.
Well, see, okay, so I played Brawl on the Wii. I played Super Mario's, was it? No, it was Galaxy. Legends of the Skyward Sword, which a lot of people hate.
I do wish I could have played some more of the games that were on the Wii, but this was like right before I joined the army. It's when I had the Wii.
Mario Kart. Mario Kart was actually really fun on the Wii.
Yeah, my sister loved it. Or loves it.
What were the other games that I played? I never played any of the other ones. Like, those, I think that was it. Like, Mario Party probably, but I mainly played Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, because Super Smash Bros. Would be, like, my favorite game on Nintendo. And then Mario Kart. And then also the Legend of Zelda games, because I love Legend of Zelda. They're incredibly complicated, they're incredibly convoluted. The story, like, where each game fits.
Which games?
Legend of Zelda.
Oh, yeah.
The story, where each of them fit within their own timeline is all over the place.
Well,
especially after Ocarina of Time.
There's only a couple of them that are actually attached to each other.
Oh no, they're all attached to each other.
No.
Yep. No, I can, dude.
There's only, dude. Nope. No, you can't. There are only 3 that are canonically attached to each other, and that is Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Wind Waker. Those are the only fucking 3.
Alright, but here's the difference. When you play Ocarina of Time, there are 3 endings that have 3 different outcomes that spread out to the different games. Wind Waker is based off of one of the endings that you did. So is Majora's Mask. So is
let me ask you a question really quick.
Yeah.
How did Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time have 3 separate endings?
So you travel back in time and you either defeat again. Gosh, it's been a while since I looked this up. You failed, and you had to go back and do it again. Or... Dude, I can send you shit on, I'm not, but all of them are connected within their own branch, because Ocarina of Time introduced time travel, which created 3 different separate branching storylines. Legend of Zelda. Here it is. This is one of them was to Twilight Princess, which took place after Majora's Mask. Then ended up in 4 Swords. Legend of Zelda and the Adventure of Link was after Link's Awakening, and so yeah. So the 3 different endings to Ocarina of Time, whereas the hero was defeated. And that led to A Link to a Past, The Oracle of Ages, Link's Awakening, Legend of Zelda, and The Adventures of Link. If the hero triumphed, and they went through the Child Era, which was Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, and 4 Swords, or the Adult Era, which was Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and then Spirit Tracks. Mission Camp and 4 Swords took place before Ocarina of Time, and then Skyward Sword was the first, which explained everything.
Okay, I'm reading all of this. I just actually went through, and from my understanding, the only canonical one is actually the one that becomes Majora's Mask.
Which is if you
The child timeline is the only actual canonical one.
That continues along the release dates of the rest of the games.
And
so
didn't Twilight Princess take place well before?
No, after.
Wasn't Twilight Princess the one the first time that Ganon actually came into existence?
No, that was Skyward Sword. Ganon has multiple different types. There's Ganondorf, Ganon something.
But they all basically are the same force. They just have different carnations.
Yeah. So as well as Zelda and Link. After the events of Skyward Sword, Zelda, Link, and Ganondorf all reincarnate constantly. Which is the reason why you get a young version of Link, and that is also talked about within the games as the hero that emerges in every single game.
All right, well, I'm eating my fucking word because I'm educating myself right now by reading this shit. I was wrong.
It is incredibly complicated, and like you have to actually look this shit up. Like it does not at all. I mean, the only ones that had it was like the original games. If you bought the physical copy, the original games would have a timeline in their game guide at the front. But other than that, you had like it became a bunch of theories, and then finally Miyamoshi, I think that's his name, came out with an actual timeline for everything. Like uh, a few years before Breath of the Wild came out.
Hmm.
And then Breath of the Wild came out, and I don't know if anybody ever figured out when Breath of the Wild took place. I think a lot of people think that Breath of the Wild came out from the Hero's Triumph ending with the adult era, and it was after Spirit Tracks.
Breath of the Wild is the new one, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's the
I
one that
actually,
just-
I actually gotta fucking finish that one. I've played it almost all the way to the end, but I was dissatisfied with how much I actually explored the world and whatnot before I went to the castle, and now I want to go back and do it again. I might actually start doing that tomorrow.
I wish I had a Switch just to play Breath of the Wild.
That's the reason I have a Switch is because Panda saw Mario Kart on it and said, "I want a Switch," and I was like, okay." And so we went out and got a Switch. So when we got the Switch, we got Mario Kart, and we got Breath of the Wild. Those were the only two that we actually bought when we got the Switch.
Not a bad combo.
So, where is it? Yeah, no. So, the last time I looked up the timeline, I had not. It was before Breath of the Wild came out, so there was only speculations, and I don't think I've ever heard of a timeline where it connected to. So
I personally, I think that freaking Breath of the Wild is completely separate because of.
it seems like some of the people are saying the same thing, where it creates its own.
It create
Its own
here's why
timeline.
here's why I think it creates its own simply because of the technology of the ancients.
Which could explain it as just being like way down the road, like after, which is the reason why people are saying it comes from the Spirit Tracks timeline.
Or
Spirit Tracks introduced steam and powered things with the railroad.
I was actually thinking it was well in the future, as in the first time Ganon ever manifested, because I'm not I can't even remember if the Triforce is in the game.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember if the Triforce is even in the game.
I haven't played it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty. If I were to place it anywhere on the timeline, I would place it at the very beginning.
Well, see, the problem with that theory is Skyward Sword fits that, because
No,
Skyward Sword.
I would place it before Skyward Sword.
Well, Skyward Sword is the origin of Hyrule, and it is the first time that Zelda and Link, like their names change at the end to Zelda and Link. Skyward Sword is it's like back before Ganondorf came in, because Hyrule was called Hyrule because it existed in the skies. And then
Then I have to say that it has to have created its own, because then it doesn't fit anywhere in the timeline. like anywhere, because it just there is this technology is. Oh, how do I describe it?
Well, okay, so if you played Spirit Tracks, Spirit
I
Tracks
have no idea what's going on.
sorry, I am.
We're nerding out right now. Okay, shut up.
I love Legend of Zelda, even though it's
Yeah,
really
me too.
complicated, it's hard to follow.
I don't want to cut you up, but I'm like, what does this have to do with fucking CNN?
The problem I have is that
CNN
I
caused
haven't
Ganon.
played,
There we go.
I haven't played any of the games that were on the handhelds.
Oh, okay. So I played Four Swords. I played Spirit Tracks. I played Phantom Hourglass. I played I played Link to Past and
You played them all.
well, no, I haven't played all of them. I only played Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. And,
All right, so I've played Legend of Zelda, Legends of Zelda 2: Adventures of Link, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword.
Play that one.
Twilight Princess is probably my favorite one.
I hear it's really good.
Aside from
As
Wind
long
Waker,
as-
it is, in my opinion, it is the best aside from Wind Waker. Wind Waker was my favorite. Wind Waker is actually the one that introduced me to everything.
Wind Waker was a fantastic game.
It was amazing. It was absolutely gorgeous too.
It was gorgeous. Like
Wind Waker started it for me because when I got the GameCube, like I was talking about earlier, I also picked up Wind Waker. And when after I played Wind Waker, I went out and I got the Triforce Collection, which had Legend of Zelda, Legend of Zelda 2, and Ocarina of Time on it. And then I played Ocarina of Time. And I was like, this is what led to Wind Waker, if you really think about it.
I feel like I fucking
right.
You know, and then Twilight Princess came out after Wind Waker came out. No, it also had Majora's Mask on it. I didn't really like Majora's Mask that much. I'll be honest.
That one was
Weird.
It was short. It was weird and short. In my opinion.
It wasn't even so much short. It actually was pretty long if you did it. If you did everything in the game, it was just as long as any of the old. It was if you did everything in the game that you could do, then it was just as long as the other ones. However, it was so disjointed. It was so disjointed that you couldn't. It was really hard to do everything in the game because you only have so many times that you can do it. Right? And it's like at some point you get bored of turning back time and doing everything over again, that you just say fuck it and then go and kick the living shit out of the kid who has the fucking mask. And then, you know, the game's over. But Wind Waker was amazing. And then Twilight Princess just was so fucking good. It was beautiful. It was... It's my favorite. Aside from Wind Waker. Wind Waker had the whole sailing mechanics and all that, and it was fun and it was cutesy, and the dungeons were challenging, and Twilight Princess, same thing. It had an interesting mechanic that made it its own, and the dungeons again were challenging. They were actually challenging. You know? And freaking... I'm not sure how I feel about Breath of the Wild, though. I'm really not. I'm not digging...
to know, but I really want to.
My biggest gripe about Breath of the Wild is that your weapons break.
Yeah, you find one you like, and it's like, nope,
your
go get another one.
Break.
It adds a completely new mechanic to the game that is
it's not
strange for.
It's not so much that mechanic, though. I mean, it's just the weapons break, and it makes it so that you're never really upgrading your weapon. You're constantly using weapons that you picked up. Constantly. And you're just praying that you can pick up a weapon and it'll actually last you through the battle that you're actually fighting. Because
There's no way to maintain them?
No, there's not. They just break.
Motherfucker.
They added in a survival mechanic into it that because
it was
because
kind of needless.
It's
well, like the rest of the game is not a survival game. Dark Souls, you could say, is a kind of survival.
No, wait. Stop a second. You have to eat. You have to cook food. You have to find food. That sort of thing. But it doesn't fit as a Legend of Zelda game. You know, I love survival games. You guys know that. Mm-hmm. I love Ark. I love Conan Exiles. If I could, I'd play 7 Days to Die. I didn't like Rust so much, but that was more because, you know, everyone's a dick on Rust.
Except for our server where no one wanted to fight anybody except for Jeff. And then we just killed Jeff.
I like survival games. It is my favorite freaking genre, but survival games do not fit with Legend of Zelda. It just doesn't. And
yeah, it's out of place.
While I enjoy
and puzzle, they're supposed to be for puzzles.
Yeah, the whole point of Legend of Zelda is A, for the story, and B, for the puzzles. And the dungeon is the puzzle. And Breath of the Wild has some interesting dungeons. It has some very, very interesting, very, very difficult dungeons. But the survival mechanic being thrown into it just makes it not very entertaining for me. And we're fucking losing viewers like...
Yeah, we're bleeding them left and right here.
So,
we're supposed to be talking about the fucking news, and that didn't happen.
Yeah, and honestly, we've been going for 2.5 hours, and that's actually testing my attention span at this point.
Yeah.
So,
it has been organic conversation, so I like that.
It has been. It has been. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on this makeup episode of Locked and Loaded. We really actually had a lot of fun tonight. It's been a while since we can actually sit down and have these open-ended streams where there's no real limit on when we have to go, because you know some of us have a fucking real job.
Yeah.
Not me.
Remember to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, share us to all your friends, unless you don't want to inflict that kind of horror upon them. Then they're not really friends anymore. And make sure to join the Discord if you haven't.
Yep, it's down there. You want to hang with us? It's right there.
Yeah, if you want to fucking throw dick jokes at us for all we care, then just go in and just say shit. We don't care. But be warned, I will randomly give you guys nicknames from time to time.
It's how we show that we love you.
Or, it's just my sick, twisted sense of humor getting in the way of things.
They're very close.
Pav, any closing statements?
Yeah.
That's a great closing statement. Buck, how about you?
The Mean Greens is $1 until February 1st, so if you want to scream and deal on a fucking fun game, there you go. Maybe we'll do like a fucking, I don't know, if we can plan it right, we can do a Twitch stream of it and have everyone in the Discord join us. I don't know how it works, we'll have to figure it out. But
no, it should be interesting. I haven't played it myself, but it looks fucking hilarious.
So you mean to tell me that you haven't even played the game and you convinced us to buy the game?
Not very much.
It's $1.
Okay.
It is $1.
True. It is $1. It is $1. So we're not really losing anything.
It's yeah.
So, again, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. This has been Locked and Loaded. Be sure to check out our sister stream, the Pre-Saints show on Friday nights, just before the actual Saints show. And, yeah, thank you and good night.
Yep, we'll see you Monday.